One day, a 7-year-old boy went to his dad and said, "Dad, I want to be a king when I grow up." His dad looked at his face and asked him, "What age would you like to be a king?" "At age 30, the boy answered. "So, what again would you run after for the next 50 years of your life?" "I'll enjoy the kingship forever," the boy said. "I wish you never become a king until you're 70, his father prayed. Okay, I made up the story above, but let's think about it. Why does the father in this story wish his son never becomes a king until he's 70? Well, after you become a king, the kingship becomes boring. And then what? Well, instead of all the glory and joy you expect, the reality of ruling a city starts to settle in. Here's the thing. Studies have shown that the process and the expectations that go into achieving a dream is more satisfying than the dream itself. While I'm going to be the last person to eulogize poverty, it would be a bad thing to show you a few paradoxes of being rich, which most people never think about, and that is what we'll do in this video. If you're new here, consider subscribing so you won't miss other interesting videos like this. The more money you have, the more you want. Some time ago, I was reading a book written by a guy who is a millionaire, and in that book, he told the story of another guy who is a billionaire and how he saw his jet and said, "Wow, what a masterpiece." Even though he has a private jet, the millionaire guy is Robert Kiyosaki, and the billionaire is Donald Trump. Think about that for a second. An average guy thinks that if you're rich enough to buy a private jet worth $50 million, you should be content. But that's not always true. Money is like beer. The more you drink, the more you want to drink, and the circle never ends. What can anyone do to overcome this human weakness? I don't know, but let me suggest something. What if you know that you'll never get to the end of that circle? What if you know that you'll never get to a point when you have everything? What if you know that you'll never get to a point when you don't see someone who has what you don't? Being rich doesn't take away the fear of poverty. I and a friend once read the story of a guy who became a millionaire and then lost everything. Then my friend said something like, "The guy ought not to become broke again. He could have invested all his money into real estate and relaxed." Well, the paradox of being rich is that the more money you have, the easier it is to lose everything. If you think an entrepreneur is too big to lose everything, ask many billionaires who have lost it all or giant companies that have gone bankrupt. But why is this so? Well, the richer you are, the more risk you want to take, because that's the only thing that can give you excitement. Think about it that way. Now you have all the money you've dreamed of having, and there's nothing again to dream about. What else can make you excited again if not to try something crazily big and hope to get 10 times your net worth? That's the reason why people like Elon Musk got as much as $180 million from the sales of PayPal and then threw all of them into the craziest industries, automobile and space. Then he nearly got to a point of bankruptcy, because everyone who has a significant amount of money knows that it's easy to lose it all. Being rich doesn't mean absolute peace. The rich still sweat. The rich still worry. No, you're not free. Most of us want to get rich because we want the freedom the money promises. But as soon as you become rich, you get the freedom you desire and lose another type of freedom, which you never knew was very important. Now that you're rich and famous, you start thinking about many of your business rivals. What if one of them wishes to assassinate you? Now you can't openly say what you think, or else you'll be a target for some government agents. Now you can't do some silly things you love doing, because there are a million cameras everywhere you go. You wanted financial freedom, and just after you got it, you lost another form of freedom. The more money you have, the fewer friends you have. The longest study about happiness, which has been on for more than 70 years, found that the singular most important contributor to human happiness is our relationship. And just as you climb the ladder of success and wealth, you'll either be hated by your old friends who envy you, or you won't find it fun to be around them because you no longer think alike. Now you have a new class, the class of the rich. But the problem with this class is that they are often very busy, just like you. And there are fewer people up there, so you tend to have less relationships. Then someone will ask me, what about the fact that everyone loves you? and wants to be around you because you're a celebrity. Well, I just ignore the call of someone now as I write in the script for this video, simply because I know that he didn't call me because he loves me. He called me because he has some money problems I might help with. While it's a nice thing to be generous with people, you get to a point when it becomes clear that almost everyone who pretends to love you only loves what you have, and that makes you lonely, even though there are tens of people around you. Then, money stops making you any happier. Money is like oxygen. There's only a small quantity you need. According to what I read, an average human being inhales about 11,000 liters of air every day, out of which about 10% is oxygen. Then we exhale, and the air that goes out does so with about 5% of oxygen. So, if I'm correct, we only consume about 550 liters of oxygen every day. If any one of us doesn't get up to the amount of oxygen they need, there may be a problem, but none of us can ever consume 2 times what we need. The same goes for money. If you don't have enough, you might not be happy, but after your basic needs are met, well, more money doesn't add anything to your level of happiness, even though everyone thinks it does. You pay fewer taxes. According to history, I was told the tax system in the modern world was invented to punish the rich, because the poor think that the rich should be forced to drop more of their wealth for them. But since wealth comes with power, the rich always outsmart the poor, and that's why today, the rich pay less percentage of their wealth than the poor. It's not fair, but how many things are fair in the world? The richer you are, the more debt you have. It's surprising how many people don't know this fact. The rich have most debt in the world, and this is as a result of what I've discussed before. Now that you're rich, what else can you do other than to dare things that are far bigger than you? To pursue an opportunity that's bigger than you, then you'll need a lot of debt, and that's the only way you can wake up in the morning with some worries and excitement, which are good nutrients for the human mind. Again, there isn't enough argument against being rich that should make you love poverty. Instead, this list was intended to make you humble. Know that you're a mere human and you'll never get to the top of the ladder. Know that searching for something often means throwing away something else. Try and look for the middle ground, and if you're able to find that, you might end up having your cake after you've eaten it, which is the true wealth. Thanks for watching our videos, and don't forget to subscribe.